Hey guys, so I asked you guys if, well, actually, I was having a look at the patch 5.1 notes just an hour ago, and I realized there's actually a lot of jungle changes where the entire game for junglers is going to be changed, and I felt like it'd be pretty important to go through it. I asked people to see if, they wanted a video about it, and majority said yes, so just gonna get through these notes. I'm only gonna go through the jungle part of it because I really don't feel like I should talk about stuff like Syndra and all that stuff. I mean, I could do a whole 5.1 rundown, but honestly, there's so many changes to jungle that a lot of people might not know of. That already is gonna take up like an entire video. So we'll go for that, or we'll talk about that for now. So, patch 5.1 notes. You can find these notes on Reddit or the League website, either place. I'll probably link them in the description as well of the video. Okay, so 2015 ranked season, that's gonna be cool. Ranked gets reset. Everyone was asking when's it gonna reset, so that'd be nice. Oh, actually, no, soon. Okay, it should be January 21st. I was about to say, they told me January 21st it was gonna reset, so that's that. Overlapping crowd control effects. I'm not gonna talk about this too much either. Um, this stuff has to do with just general stuff. Okay, so Elise. Um, Basically, Elise, I guess Riot kind of realized Elise is way too weak right now. The issue people keep asking me is Elise any good? Elise is just too weak in the jungle right now. She just cannot clear camps effectively. She doesn't scale as well as other junglers to the late game. She just doesn't do enough damage, she got so many nerfs, nerf after nerf after nerf, and she's just, and then the jungle even got harder on top of that. It just imagine it just putting a bunch of like bricks on Elise, and it's just gotten so heavy she can't, do anything. They've realized that, but this buff right here, maximum bonus damage for her Q, Neurotoxin and Venomous Bite. Maximum bonus damage versus monsters has been increased by 25 at all levels, 75, 50, 100, 175, and so on. I don't think this is going to do anything, like, at all. She's still going to be weak. She still doesn't scale as well as other junglers like Wukong, Lee Sin. Well, I mean, Lee Sin doesn't have the best scaling, but I still think Lee Sin's a lot better than Elise late game. Her Cocoon just doesn't seem to be very reliable. I mean, just think of it like this. Three other frontliners are running at your team, and your Elise you don't have enough damage to kill the AD carry. Also, that's another key thing. AD carries are so hard to kill late game now, and Elise just cannot keep up with that. Like even if you're going full AP Elise, you're still gonna have a hard time killing that AD, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, at least she used to be able to kill a AD carry being full tank. Now you try to do it, just doesn't work out. And on top of that, you can't stop like three people coming at your team at once, right? But other junglers could, like Wukong. What else could do it? Jarvan, Lee Sin, Vi. These other junglers can definitely do something like that. Nunu. There's a lot of junglers that can just peel better and just do a lot better than Elise. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think this is going to do much for her. Someone did ask me though, is Elise going to be any good at all in 5.1? Now they did make a change to Dragon and Baron, so I'm wondering if that'll actually affect her Spiderlings, how they interact with Baron and Dragon. If her Spiderlings can tank Baron shots, what I used to do with Elise back in season 3 is actually do very very sneaky Barons at like 15 minutes with my Spiderlings and stuff like that. We'll have to see how they interact with each other, but for the most, like 99% sure, I won't say 99, 90% sure that Elise is just not going to be very good at all. So that's that. Evelynn has more mana regen, and Ravage procs on hit effects. I mean, I guess that's nice. The fact that Ravage, now applies on hit effects. Missing mana, mana's gotten scaled up a bit, 2% missing mana per second while she's stealth rather than 1%. Maximum mana per second. Hold on, did they word this wrong? Plus 1% maximum mana per second. 2% missing mana per second. So this seems like it would probably be a slight buff. It's not 2% maximum mana. Maximum mana would be a lot better than missing mana because maximum mana is talking about the entire mana pool, and this is talking about just the missing mana pool. So this could actually be even a nerf at some points, in my opinion, because if you're like missing, like let's say, 200 mana, and your entire mana pool is 800, right? 1% of 800 would be 80. I mean, sorry, 80, 8. Oh my gosh, math is hard. Okay, so 1% would be 8, right? And then 2% missing mana, if you're missing 200, that would be 4. So if you were missing 200 mana, your mana regen is actually worse. So that's a little interesting. I mean, I guess you don't care about too much mana regen when you do have like, 3/4 of mana, but still that, that's not a complete buff in a way. Well, I guess yeah, it is a buff. But still, it's a little weird why they did that. Um, Overall, Eve still same thing as Elise, just too weak. And just simple as that, she's just too weak. There's a lot of junglers just out duel her early. There's a lot of junglers that I think what's happened with Evelynn is Evelynn was really, really good in the ganking meta. When you were supposed to gank a ton and, take advantage of that invisibility, clear a couple camps, and go on a rampage of ganks, right? I'll talk more about this later, but I feel like Eve has not only gotten weaker, but I feel like she's almost fell out of the meta. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. So Fizz, no, I'm not gonna really talk about them too much. Hecarim, um, his rampage. By the way, the good stuff is at the end. If you want to just skip through this, the good stuff that's like really, really game changing is at the end. We're talking about little buffs right now. Rampage, mana cost got lowered early, 20 from 24, 23 from 26. Spirit of Dread, the healing I guess got a little bit better. This really again is not going to affect Hecarim too much. Hecarim's issue is not his sustain. His issue is the fact that when he builds items, so basically all Hecarim players that you've ever seen, they always build Warrior or Juggernaut and then Trinity Force or Gauntlet, right? They need that Spellblade item. They need to do something with their Spellblade item since they have so much, they use abilities so often. The Q is such a low cooldown. But the issue with that is you have a vulnerable early to mid game where you're very squishy. However, your kit forces you to all in the opponent, right? Because you're melee and you're ulting into people and stuff like that. So you have to be very, very careful about that. But his main issue is he needs to farm a lot, which isn't horrible, right? I'll talk more about that later. Um, but he's also weak and vulnerable in his jungle. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Hecarim try to duel Elise in pre-6 or even post-6, for that case. But it's pretty disgusting. So I don't really know what, they can go with this, route. Riot thinks that the sustain is the issue and that's why it's not being played. But that's not it at all. What I mean, this still might allow. I would say you might see more Hecarims since Stalkers Blade did get changed a bit. And I mean, it's not too significant. I'll talk more about it later. Stalkers Blade did get changed a bit, and farming junglers are going to be probably the best junglers in the game right now. However, when I say farming junglers, I don't mean Shyvana. I mean something like something with like maybe a level 6 gank, so you can get ganks off, but once they're guaranteed. So again, I'll talk more about that later. I know that might be a little confusing, so skip all that. Nautilus. So I talked about this on stream for actually quite a bit. They buffed Nautilus's W. I think Nautilus actually isn't half bad right now. Before 5.1, I think Nautilus is actually pretty decent. I was playing with attack speed Quince, attack speed Marks, and he felt really, really good. I could actually dual carry junglers. I could sustain better than them. I could farm faster than them. And I'm like, hold on a second here, okay, I'm not a carry jungler. Yeah, I'm not like, I'm an unconventional pick, but I seem to be doing really, really well, as a tank jungler who offers a lot of utility. So, getting to this point, his base W got lowered significantly. You can just read them here. Got like shredded. But the catch is, instead of the scaling 15% bonus health, this is going to be maximum health, which means your entire HP bar. So this would mean like if you had, 1,200 HP, but only 200 of that HP is actually HP that you got from masteries, runes, and items, you're only going to get a scaling from 200, right? But this is going to be your entire 1,200 HP. Now, I did the math on it with my viewers the other day, and this is going to be a nerf to his early game. You're going to get a lower shield early on, but his late game shield is going to be about like the 600 to 700 HP shield, which is going to be really, really significant. So look out for Nautilus players. I think this guy's going to get played again. I like him already, and I'm more than likely going to play him another, like in this patch. However, my only concern, I guess, is the fact that they might have made his early a little bit too weak. They nerfed his early game. I don't know if Riot's aware of that, but they nerfed his early game, his W. But I mean, I farm till 4 anyways before I do anything at all in Nautilus. I get 2 points in W before I even get a point in Q. So we'll have to see. Definitely be playing him once 5.1 is released on stream. So I'll let you guys know. Oh, and this is the thing that everyone is curious about: is Rek'Sai gonna be good anymore? Okay, so let's go over this. Queen's Wrath. Okay, her Q. Base damage has been untouched at level 1. 35, 30, so gotten nerfed a little bit. 55, 45, nerfed by 10 damage. 75 to 60, 95 to 75. So they're nerfing it, more and more as she skills, when she puts points into it. And attack ratio is lowered by 0.1. Now, let's actually go through the entire thing. Prey Seeker, 0.7 AP at all ranks. I mean, not many people build AP anyways. It's okay. I mean, I tried it. It was fun. Really, really fun. W and Burrow, 0.5 to 0.4 bonus attack damage at all ranks. So, okay, is Reksai going to be playable after these nerfs? Now, I really hate saying this because I feel like this might cause Reksai to continue being banned, but I feel like yes, yes, yes. Like this is still not touching her cooldowns, not touching her kit, not touching her really, really like the source of her power, right? This is just very, very minor damage nerfs. I mean, yeah, okay, well, I shouldn't say minor. They are pretty significant. But on Reksai, I would always go Stalkers, Warrior, Trinity Force. When you add all that AD up, plus my runes and masteries, it's actually not that much bonus AD that I'm building. After that, I just build full tank anyways. I think Reksai, her kit is just a little too strong right now. And she's still going to be played regardless of these nerfs. I mean, I'm still going to be playing her. I hope that people stop banning her from these nerfs, but I say that Reksai got hurt more from the Stalkers Blade change than these actual nerfs. These nerfs, like this one, is almost insignificant, like just negligible. This one, I guess, would also kind of be negligible. I mean, 0.1 bonus attack damage. If we do the math on it real quick, right? Warrior gives 45 AD. Okay, so we got 45. Trinity Force, let me look at real quick. Trinity Force gives me 30 AD, so that's 75 attack damage. And let's say I get about 25 for my runes and masteries because I do have this scaling AD. They're called brute force. So let's just say 25 AD from runes and masteries. Okay, so 25. The Trinity Force is 30, so 55. And then the Warrior, that's 45. So that's about 100, right? You got 100 bonus AD. So you do this math, right? You're losing about 10 damage per attack. You know what I mean? That's 10 damage per attack. You're losing 10 damage on your unburrow. Bonus attack damage. This is not like that. If it said full AD, that would be kind of a different thing. But then Reksai would be extremely OP. But yeah, this is not really significant nerfs. Not really. Definitely still will be played. Yeah, her her clear speed is kind of unchanged early on. Her clear speed will be a little bit worse. The reason Reksai is so strong right now, people are kind of wondering why is she so strong. She has like a little bit of how do I explain this? She's one of the few junglers who can consistently gank and consistently farm her jungle. While I've had games where I've had kill participation 20 plus and still had 200 CS at 25 minutes. That's how strong Reksai is as a champion. You have so much pressure around the map with your tunnels, especially if you put your tunnels in right places very smartly. Like basically when you're playing Reksai, you have to think like 2 minutes ahead. Like, okay, 5 minutes in, I want to put a tunnel here. I'll have you level 6 by 7 minutes. I'm gonna I'll TP to my tunnel here if they get ganked. And she's really good at counter ganking for that reason. She's really good at just kind of being around the map. And it's kind of scary. Her ulti is pretty low cooldown. Her clear speed's incredible. Her sustain is nice, and everything like that just makes her a very strong champion. And her dueling potential is insane as well. And then on top of that, she has true damage. It's like, okay, thank you for the champion. But we'll talk more about this and play more Reksai on stream. Again, I think these nerfs weren't as significant as the Stalkers Blade nerf, which I'll talk about in just a second here. Scion, fix a bug where if Scion was killed while affected by a healing debuff, revive in his zombie form with reduced health. I think that's happened to me a few times. I just never said anything about it because I'm like, maybe that's supposed to happen. Skarner, Crystal Slash, mana cost have been lowered, and the Fracture cooldown has been lowered. Will this make Skarner playable? No. Skarner still does too low damage. And just gets out-dueled. Well, honestly, I won't say he even gets out-dueled. I think Skarner's pretty strong when it comes to duels. He's alright, but I think for the most part, Skarner first off, his ganks aren't that good. Right, that's just first off. His ganks are just not that good. Second, like the reason for that is just he's so close range, and he has a W that's a ramp up, so it's very easy to react to. You can be like, oh hey, Skarner started his W, and then like he's starting to speed up. It's like, okay, can I what champion doesn't have a gap closer, or what champion isn't taking utility masteries on their flash in 2015? Like, okay, like it's just too easy to escape Skarner. There's what champion doesn't have a stun or a gap closer or an escape or something to escape a Skarner gank. It's almost like Skarner, trying to gank with him is pretty. It's kind of annoying. I mean, yeah, you can flash ulti, but that's investing a lot into one gank. And then on top of that, his clear speed's pretty. It's not the best. I definitely have, he's not my first choice. So yeah, and on top of that, his late game, and in my opinion, I think his late game is nowhere in comparison to a lot of other champions like Jarvan and Wukong and so on. So I'm not trying to downgrade Skarner too much. I mean, I used to play so much Skarner, like 200 plus 300 games, but he's just not where I'd like him to be, and I don't think he should be played until he gets some significant buffs. So that's that. Sona, Xerath, Syndra, Zed. Okay, here's the really important stuff. Base gates are nice. They're not too big of a deal. I mean, unless an enemy team is fighting you near those gates, which would be broken OP for you guys, because you can just keep going in and out, shooting skill shots, juking them into the tunnel and into the gate because they can't chase you. And then, like, if they flash over, you can just walk back over. That'd be stupid. Okay, the enemy team would be really, really dumb to do that to you guys. So I don't think the gates are gonna be too big of a deal. It's just nice for jungle to kind of save 1 or 2 seconds to get to their jungle once they back. Other than that, not too significant. Smite changes. Okay, so Smite has 2 charges now, which is extremely significant. I think this is really, really good for jungle. Yes, 1 per 60 seconds with a maximum of 1 charge at any time. That's 1 per 75 seconds with a maximum of 2 smite charges at any time. I think this is really, really good because that allows more flexibility for when you do buy stalkers or when you do buy, any, let's say stalkers, poachers, skirmishers. It allows more flexibility when you can smite your own camp, go to the enemy camp and just smite their camp as with poachers, or smite your camp and then have your smite back up in 15 seconds when you're about to gank with stalkers or skirmishers or whatever it be. I think this is really, really good. Overall, it's going to be really nice for the jungle. I don't want to go into too much detail about that because then it's just going to get really confusing. Because it's about to get more confusing right here. Jungle AI. 10 soft leashes. It used to reset. Now it's 5 soft leashes. So basically what this is you've probably seen me play some range junglers recently, or played some range junglers yourself, and noticed that these range junglers could safe spot these camps. I would advise against it now because I mean unless it's just like 1 or 2 autos, because right now if it hard resets you're gonna regret it. Hard reset just gains it so much HP. And now it's gonna be after 5 soft leashes, which doesn't mean 5 auto attacks. It means when they like here they kind of explain it well. First, when we say leash, we're talking about the moment when a monster camp either loses aggro on its target or switches to a different target, right? So if one of these Krugs wiggles between 2 targets rapidly, you can expect it to hard reset pretty fast. So now when the red buff kind of like spazzes out between you and going back, and so on, I feel like it's not worth the risk, because if it does reset, it's gonna gain like 1k HP. It's really dumb. So be careful about that. Just be aware of it. This is really important. I noticed Dragon was actually being pink warded. Like literally, people were placing pink wards on Dragon, literally on the Dragon. And if they wanted to clear the pink ward, they would have to attack Dragon, which that's not a very nice scenario for people. I never did it, but I mean, I don't know why I never did. I should have just do it anyway. It's just like, let's pink ward the dragon. I mean, there's not much use to pink warding the dragon on top of the dragon, because what does that do for you? You're just getting vision in the pit. Yeah, okay, there's no vision in the pit, but what you're doing is also making it so. Actually, let me show you here. So basically, if you did pink ward the middle of the pit on dragon, you're not getting the vision in the river right here, which would be really bad, because if they had a ward here and you're just walking into dragon, oh look at me, I pink warded my dragon, they might find that you're there and just kill you. So it wasn't really much useful, but people were being annoying with that. Dragon now knocks away wards when he's at or moves to his starting location. So that's that. Let's see. Baron Nashor. Now this is a huge change as well. So basically, I'm just going to kind of summarize this, or I might go through some things here. Basically, Baron is weaker. Basic attack damage got lowered, 500 to 240. Attack damage gains per minute, 0. It never gained any AD over time, but now it will. So capped at 310 AD after 40 minutes, which is still weaker than the original Baron. Oh wait, hold on. Capped at 3 plus 310 AD after 40 minutes. So when the Baron first appears, total attack damage at spawn. Hold on. Basic attack damage, 500 to 240. Total attack damage at spawn. This is actually a little confusing. This counts from the start of the game. So I guess what would be, oh, okay, so what would be is, I guess that what they're saying is this would be this starting at literally at 0 minutes, you'll get 240 AD with Baron. But Baron spawns at 20 minutes, right? So since Baron spawns at 20 minutes, times 8 by 20, that's 160, add that to 240, and that's what Baron's AD will be when it spawns. However, so Baron will be slightly weaker when it spawns at 20 minutes, but it'll actually be stronger, it seems. From this alone, it seems like it would be stronger later on in the game, plus 310 AD. That could be pretty big. That could be 550 attack damage total, which is only a little bit stronger. Health stat changes, health gain per minute. Same story. Total health at spawn would be 10,000. I'm not sure if this has a cap. Yeah, it doesn't seem like this has a cap, so I guess Baron could get a little bit tankier later on. Attack changes, melee attack effect radius, so the radius is a little bit lower. Ratios went down in all of his abilities. I guess they added a little bit of an AD thing. Baron Nashor now casts 1 spell after 6 basic attacks. And this was before 1 spell after 4 or 5 basic attacks. I think, honestly, the spells were actually the best, because when he did spells, you were able to avoid his damage a lot easier. But it seems like now they want him to basic attack more, which is kind of bad for us, because we're going to be tanking Baron a lot longer and a lot harder. But he is weaker early on, so... And also the AD ratios. We're going to have to, honestly, I don't want to do like too much. I don't want to go too in depth in this because there's just too many ratios to look at. Overall, he's weaker early on. He potentially might be stronger or equal to what he is now later on in the game. I mean, from just the health and AD perspective. But the ratios look like they got just butchered. Or not butchered, I mean, they got... Well, some of them did. Like, this is 1.0 to 0.2. 0.75 to 0.25. I think it's good. Overall, it's good for us. Baron Nashor is easier to do. We're just going to leave it at that. Jungle scaling, this is really important. I actually tweeted and put on Facebook about this. This is extremely important, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. So, champions receive less experience if the cleared monster camp is 2 levels, right? That's what it used to be, this patch. 3 levels lower than their own. What does that mean? Okay, so we're going to go to the map here real quick. Basically, what my route used to be would be Krugs. You know, I usually start... I like to start bot side. But something to note is starting bot side, it does more damage to you. Starting top side does less damage to you. Just because blue buff does less damage than red buff. Wolves does less damage than raptors or razor beaks. Gromp, you'll just get a leash at, so you can kill it pretty fast before taking significant damage. But, you know, that's just something random that I just put in there. So let's say I start Krugs, do my red, do my razor beaks, reward this, go back to base. And that's what I've been doing recently. Go back to base. If my Ranger Smite is up, I'll do Gromp. If it's not up, or I took Stalkers, I'll just do my blue buff. And then after blue buff, what I'll do is like, okay, is there any easy ganks? Is anyone playing super aggressive mid or top lane? No? Okay, let's smite our Gromp with Stalkers, because I'm not going to gank within 60 seconds. Do Wolves, do Razor Beaks, do Krugs, go back, or look for any ganks after Razor Beaks. And the point is basically I continuously clear these camps. And then what I would do is like, oh, okay, just clear my Razor Beaks and Krugs, go back to base, go back to Gromp, because that'll be back up by the time I'm finished with Krugs, go back to Wolves. And then you kind of see this pattern. All I'm doing is clearing my camps. And then, you know, the kind of dead time in between, I might go kill a crab, or might go pressure a lane, or go out to ward, or something like that. But what I've been doing is clearing all my camps. And what that does is it just allows the camps to level up over time. if you leave a camp up, so like let's say you don't do Razor Beaks till 15 minutes in, your Razor Beaks are going to be level 1 Razor Beaks, basically. They're not going to give like any XP. It's going to be ridiculously bad. If you decide not to do Krugs for 5 minutes, your Krugs are going to give a lot less XP. Simple as that. So basically, you want to this jungle, this I guess jungle era, this jungle patch. It's very very similar. I don't know if you guys played, but back in the Zac era, where people would just farm like crazy on Zac, it's back to that for a few changes, or because of a few changes. This change and this change. Bonus gold on monster kill is 30 bonus gold on a jungle item, 15 on a hunter machete. Now, basically, what I'm trying to recommend. Well, let me explain this a little bit more. So basically, receive less experience if the clear monster camp is 2 levels behind. So let's say, I didn't clear Razor Beaks for, I'm not sure if the level up is every 100 seconds. It might be because that's a respawn timer. I'm not 100% sure on that. It might be. Maybe someone can clarify in the comment section what's the level up timer. I didn't really pay too much attention to that because it's not too important. But let's say there's a 100-second timer. So let's say I didn't kill raptors for 200 seconds. Okay, I just did not kill raptors for 200 seconds. Okay, and let's say that is equivalent to 2 level ups. What would end up happening is I would get less experience because it was 2 levels under what it should be, basically. So champions receive less experience if a clear monster camp is 2 levels lower than their own. So I'm not exactly like I really need to. I probably should look into like the monster level ups because I don't think that's like exactly how it's supposed to be. But what I'm trying to get at, because I'm just thinking about it, is lower than their own. It might actually be talking about your champion. Um, if you don't clear it and it's 2 levels down, it would give you less XP. Okay, that's just simple as that. Now it's 3 levels down. So not only are you basically able to kind of be safe, like let's say you don't do Krugs for a little bit longer than usual, you'll still get the full XP. But what I want to kind of emphasize here is when it says 3 levels lower than their own, which means you can continuously clear your camps like crazy and always get that guaranteed full amount of XP, even if you are over leveled. Which this basically makes it so champions in the jungle can be over leveled 3 levels of their jungle rather than 2. If that makes sense. It's kind of a confusing concept, especially because not many people talk about jungle level ups, and not many people talk about like what times the jungle actually level up and what times, or how to kind of keep track of that. Basically, what I'm telling you is clear your camps as often as possible, gank when it's guaranteed, especially because you get this basically almost full conservation gold on every camp now, 30 bonus gold, very close. It used to be 40, right? At max conservation. Or 40 conservation, and now it's 30 on every single one. So 100% recommend junglers, please farm all your camps and only gank when it's guaranteed. Now you might be like, you might see the enemy jungler Lee Sin, he might get like 1 or 2 successful ganks off and be like, man, what am I doing? I'm just farming here. I need to go help my team. Just really, really like fight yourself on it and be like, no, I'm not going to help my team just yet. Continue farming. I've been trying this method and this strategy in solo queue. It works like perfectly. You just become so ridiculously strong, so over leveled. Your base stats become a lot higher than the enemies, and you just have a ton of gold. You just have items, and you just carry the game that way. But obviously, like let's say you're playing like something like Vi. Your ulti's up and your wolves are up. You may as well just use your ulti real quick and then go do your wolves. So you can use your sometime. Like if you think you can get a gank off guaranteed, yeah, go for it. For sure. I'm not trying to stop you guys from ganking, but just be aware that farming your jungle can make you over leveled even better than it used to and gives you a lot more gold. Well, not a lot more gold, just a lot of gold, I should say. But it does give you more than before. Sorry, I didn't really explain that too well because like it's kind of hard to understand and kind of hard to explain as well. Item exchanges. Trinkets, unenchanted jungle items, and boot enchants cannot be exchanged. That's kind of cool. Trinkets can be exchanged with other trinkets of equal level. Cost is calculated as 100% cost of the new trinket. Minus 70% cost of the old trinket. Its sellback value. So I'm thinking you just pay a little bit of extra to switch your trinket out, which is kind of cool. This could be a huge game changer if people want, hey guys, everyone has oracles. Let's all get pink ward totems, and it only costs, I'm not going to do the math on it, but I'm pretty sure that's, cost is calculated as 100% cost of the new trinket. So let's say 250 minus 70% cost of the old trinket, which is also 70% of 250. So you're paying the difference. You're paying 30% of 250, basically, which is, off the top of my head, 75 gold to switch trinket. Not, someone can check my math on that or just tell me, oh, no, you're wrong. But No refunds. Exchanging Oracle Lens for another trinket will not refund gold. um, Exchanging Oracle Lens for another trinket will not refund gold. Okay, so I guess what I was talking about is actually not possible. The Oracle Lens, I guess you cannot do. But I guess this was applicable to um, the other trinkets, the yellow and blue one. I guess I don't know. We'll see once we get into the actual patch. I'm not really trying to do too in depth of this. Just kind of wanted to talk about the jungle mainly. Convenience, you can smite. Enchanted jungle items can now be exchanged with another enchanted jungle item for free. Jungle item enchants can't be exchanged. So yeah, this is pretty important. Basically, enchanted jungle items means stalkers, poachers, skirmishers, rangers. Now I was just thinking of it to myself. I'm like, okay, well if I know I'm going to be farming for the next minute and a half, I probably just want a rangers, you know? So when do you know if you're going to be farming for a minute and a half? Let's say, let's use an example of Vi. Let's say I just used my ultimate to secure a kill, right? Maybe I should just go swap my Stalkers Blade for a Rangers for the next 2 minutes. And then go farm with Rangers, and then go sell it for Stalkers again once I'm ready to gank with my ulti. So this is a pretty big game changer. This is actually pretty huge. There's a lot of strategy involved in this, and we'll talk more about it and see what the best strategy is. But just keep that in mind that that this might be really strong, or not strong, but it's going to be a game changer. Boots and chance cannot be exchanged. Cost is calculated. Not, don't really care too much about that for jungle. Okay, Rengar you have to do it manually. So Hunter Machete again, 15 gold instead of 10. Again, that's a pretty significant buff. 30 instead of 20, really significant buff. Now the Stalkers Blade. Ooh, this is the thing that I kind of like frowned upon. I'm like, okay, this kind of sucks. Chilling Smite, 50% movement speed slow. And that's what it used to be for 2 seconds. And now it's going to be a 20% movement speed steal. Now, basically, this is going to be a huge nerf to Reksai and to a lot of other junglers. So basically, the reason the Stalkers Blade was so good is because, just like they said, right here, switching Smite slow from a straight 50% kneecap to movement speed steal means the smited champion can still dodge skill shots or get under the tower rather than hobbling around and eating all the, whatever. Just a fine example of this is Jarvan. When I smited somebody with Jarvan, they were forced to flash, otherwise they would die. Or they were forced to be in a really weird, awkward position. And what that would do is make my skill shot very easy to land. Stalker's Blade on, let's say, Wukong. Well, I guess let's not use Wukong. Wukong's not going to be hurt too bad from this. On, let's say, Vi, made it so my Q was really easy to land. On Lee Sin, my Q was really easy to land on them because, they were slowed. Now, what purpose is movement speed going to have, when it comes to Lee Sin or Jarvan? Right? Like, it's not going to have much purpose. Or Vi, I guess. Well, I guess Vi is not too bad, but the point is, movement speed steal is not even nearly as good as movement speed slow. Not even close, not even remotely. So, this is going to suck for a lot of junglers. My plan is to test it with everybody still and be like, okay, do I like it? Do I not like it? And if I don't, I'm more than likely going to go with poachers or rangers. I do think poachers is a lot better now because of the way they set up their 2 charges. So basically, you can smite one of your camps with a poacher smite, and then go into their camp, smite theirs. Like, oh my gosh, I'm full of gold, and my smite's already off cooldown. Let's go smite something else, and just go crazy with that. That might be something, not 100% sure. I'm not saying go do that right away. I'm going to test it and let you guys know. But, yeah, it's more likely going to be just rangers. We'll see. Yeah, this hurt Reksai pretty hard. The movement speed slow was really core. Allowed her to actually get ganks off. So the fact that that's gone. We're going to see if Reksai can still gank properly with the movement speed steal. 20% movement speed steal. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see. Okay. I'm not going to talk about these too much. This is just normal stuff. If I did, this video would be so long. Greater Stealth Totem is now 250 gold. Greater Vision Totem is 250 gold. That's kind of crazy that they reduced the cost pretty significantly. You should be seeing these bought a lot more often. Greater Stealth Totem is actually a 60-second cooldown now as well. And I believe this places a 3-minute word. So basically, you could get 3 words. This is the way I'm looking at this right now. Okay, I might be wrong. I kind of just like skimming through this a bit. This is a 60-second cooldown, right? 3 minutes is 180 seconds. So in 180 seconds, you could potentially get 3 3-minute wards down, which seems a little insane to me. This almost seems like a built-in sightstone. um, Interesting. You might see me be buying this actually pretty often. Greater Vision Totem, 120-second cooldown, which isn't too significant because, or not too important because pink wards you're limited to 1. This one you're not limited to 1. You can get 3 wards down. Obviously, by the time you put your 3rd ward down, I believe well, no, you could actually have 3 wards up, right? You place it at 1 second. Let's say you place it at 0 seconds. You place your 1st ward. All right, then you place your 2nd one at 60 seconds. You place your 3rd one at 120. You can have 3 wards down with this totem, if I am understanding correctly, unless of course when you what happens is, like, let's say I put a totem down and then I place my 2nd totem down, it removes the 1st one. If it does that, that makes more sense, a lot more sense. If not, this trinket might be broken. I don't know if they clarified that or if that's how it works. I'm not too knowledgeable about this thing because I don't see anyone building it ever. But yeah, we'll have to, this is kind of significant. We'll see. Also, what I was kind of confused about is, where was it? Some small rebalancing. Okay. Yellow and blue trinket upgrades are cheaper. Yellow trinket upgrades are on a shorter cooldown. Red trinket upgrade is cheaper. So what I'm confused about is, Oracle Lens apparently is a cheaper upgrade. However, when I scrolled up here, this really confused me. When I scrolled up here, let me see. Oracle. Exchanging Oracle Lens, sellback is 333 gold. That is saying that it's a 450 gold upgrade. But over here, they're saying that it's a reduced cost. So I'm assuming it's going to be 250 gold upgrade. I'm not 100% sure. They didn't even write it down. I don't know why they didn't write it down. So either this is poor writing on their part or really poor comprehension on my part. But either way, this is going to be a huge game changer. Really, really significant. And Oracle's Lens, if it is a 250 gold item, I'm going to be buying this at level 9 as soon as possible. Literally like, oh, I'm level 9. Okay, I need to get my Oracles. Almost as important as finishing my jungle item. Because that's really cheap. And I mean, yeah, they did increase the cooldown a bit, but you know what? There's even a typo here, cooldown. So I'm assuming it's just on their part. They made mistakes. I'm not 100% sure. Just call me out on it in the YouTube comment section, if that is the case. But I guess I'll wait till they kind of get a little bit more confirmation there. But yeah, so. A lot of game changers, a lot. This reminds me again of the farming era where people used to farm 200 CS on Zac and just carry games 1v5. And I think that's kind of the case right now. Reksai, to sum it all up, let's go sum it up just real quick. Just very, very quickly, not going to take more than a minute. Elise, not going to be playable. Eve, not going to, well, I shouldn't say that. Not going to be any better. Like, very insignificant buff. Very insignificant buff. Hecarim, same story. Nautilus, I think you'll see some play with Nautilus. This seems pretty good. Reksai, she didn't really... the nerfs here weren't really as bad as the Stalkers nerf, so I think Reksai will still be played. I'm just really curious, can I still pull off ganks with that Stalkers Blade? I'm crossing my fingers. Please let me at least be able to pull off ganks with Reksai, and then I'll be playing her like crazy. So we'll have to see. Scion, didn't matter. Skarner, same story as even Elise and the other guy. There's another one up there. Hecarim, that's it. And base gates, not too important, but they're nice. Smite change is pretty huge, very good for junglers. Jungle AI, be careful about the soft leashes. I would be very, very careful for the hard reset. Dragon, apparently they're making Dragon weaker. I don't know if I actually went over that. I don't think so. So Dragon knocks that up. I don't think it's this patch. I think it might be next patch. They're making Dragon weaker. So Baron, overall weaker. So Baron is overall weaker early. Might be equal in strength later on. But I probably not. It's probably going to be weaker at all stages of the game because of these ratios getting cut down. Jungle scaling, very, very strong concept here. If you guys understand this, like, I know I'm really bad explaining this. I sound like an idiot when I'm trying to explain this, but it's just really, really good. Farm your camps. and you'd be like, oh my gosh, he was right. Just trust me on this one. Just farm your camps like crazy. Item exchanges, again, this is a little bit weird. Oracle's Lens, stuff like this. Pretty important. Again, we'll talk more into detail once we actually play this on stream. The portal I didn't really go through. I tried it today on PvE. I didn't think there was going to be much use for it unless you literally put it right in front of an enemy turret and you clear the wave and then it's just like constantly hitting the turret. But like, there's so much preparation involved in doing that. Like, so much preparation involved that by the time you finish all that preparation, someone's there killing your portal. You know what I mean? Not going to talk too much detail about that. Very strong. More gold for us when we farm. Stalkers, I still need to see how this works in game. The average movement speed is probably going to be about the average movement speed is about 370. 20% of that is going to be 74. So that's 74% movement or 74 movement speed stolen. We'll have to see. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be still playable for like rek'sai and stuff, or still good. Again, this Smite charges brings in strategy of poachers. I don't know if I said that earlier. Poachers might be played. You're able to exchange the smites as well, so you can swap smites whenever your ultis are down and stuff like that. If my Pantheon ulti is down and I'm just planning on farming. Oh, by the way, top tier junglers are definitely going to change. Definitely going to change because stuff like Pantheon isn't the best farmer. So, I mean, he's still good. I won't talk into too much detail about that. I'll just, worry about that on the stream. This stuff, I'm still a little confused. There's some typos and still a little bit foggy, concepts here. Red Trinket upgrade is cheaper. They didn't say that here. So we'll have to see. This seems pretty, really, really big game changer. Just let's say that. This is going to be a big game changer. And yeah, that's about it. Everything else is pretty, I didn't go through the entire notes. I mean, this is already a 42-minute video, so I don't want to make it a 5-hour video. But, all right, guys. Sorry about, maybe a little things that I said weren't too clear. Not explained the best, but I kind of just, what's it called? Gathered this together over the past hour. Since I was just looking at this, like, literally an hour ago looking at this, I'm like, maybe I should make a video about this. This is actually really big changes. But, yeah, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Almost at the stream there. Not used to YouTube yet. But thank you so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy, give it a like. Give it a comment. Tell me when I messed up. I probably messed up something in this. I usually always mess up something in patch notes. Or read something wrong. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm planning on making so much content on the YouTube. Not only information and patch notes and guides and all this stuff, but I'm planning on making some fun videos, maybe playing with some other YouTubers in normal games or like, whatever. Just having some fun, ranked 5s, and uploading some funny videos. And obviously the highlight clips every, couple days will still be coming out. So yeah, a lot of new content coming onto the YouTube. So subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. I don't think so. Yeah, that's going to be it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Let me know what kind of stuff you want to see on the YouTube, by the way. Give me some suggestions in the comment section. And if you have any questions about the patch notes, maybe something I can clarify better. I kind of did this on the spot, so I'm sorry for, maybe sounding a little bit, what's the word? Blabbery in some points, but yeah. All right, guys, see you next time.